Kaffarah, an original screenplay by Tom Rossi. Fade-in, exterior makeshift soccer field, Beit Amin, West Bank, 4 years ago. The field is dirt and the lone goal is made with wooden poles and chicken wire. Ishaq Jalal, an 8-year-old Palestinian boy, is running after a scuffed soccer ball, finally kicking it past a middle-aged man defending the goal. The man, Habib Jalal, is the boy's father. As the ball sails past his father's outstretched arms, the boy jumps up and down in delight. Habib reaches out and hugs the boy, then pulls a Superman keychain charm from his pocket and gives it to the boy. Ishaq returns the hug. They both look skyward as a jet fighter streaks low overhead. Flash forward. Exterior, Darren Bakery, B'nai B'rak, Israel, morning, present day. It is a crowded street. On the sidewalk, businessmen are rushing to work. Groups of children on their way to school are laughing and teasing each other. In the street, buses and cars have clogged the narrow street and are inching along. Ishaq, now a chubby, dark-haired boy of 12, wearing a red sweatshirt and jeans, walks into frame and stops at the window of the Darren Bakery. He presses his face against the glass, looking at the display of sweet pastries. He goes inside. Interior, Darren Bakery, continuous. Ishaq walks through the door. The only other occupant of the store is V. Darren, the owner of the bakery. He's a balding man in his early 50s and carries weariness about his features. He's sipping coffee behind the countertop and looks up as he hears the door open.
Good morning.
Ishaq says nothing but crosses to the display of sweet pastries. He remains there looking at them.
Sweets for breakfast. Now, what would your mother say?
The boy jerks his head up and he stammers.
I'm not allowed to.
Zvi looks the boy over, noticing the sweatshirt and dusty jeans.
Boy, did you have breakfast this morning?
Zvi reaches into the display case and hands the boy a pastry wrapped in a paper napkin.
Go on. A pastry can't hurt. Go ahead, no charge.
The boy hesitantly takes the pastry and sits at a small table in the store. He eats the pastry slowly, savoring each bite. Zvi stands behind the counter looking at the boy.
I have a son who loves to eat those, sometimes even for breakfast. He's older than you. In fact, he's in the army now, but whenever he comes home, I make sure he has sweets.
It's good.
It's the marzipan I put in. Eat. You want coffee? Yeah. Coffee is no good for a boy. No good for an old man either. But someday when you grow up, coffee will be the only thing you think of every morning.
My father drinks coffee every morning.
When my son was little, we sat at the coffee table every morning, and I had my coffee, and he had his juice. One day, he asked me for a sip of my coffee, and when he tasted, he made a face like this. But the next day, he had 2 sips, and he made 2 faces like this. Avram could always make me laugh when he was little. But he always paid attention to his studies, always made us proud of him. That's important, boy. Always listen to your parents and make them proud of you.
Ishaq lowers his eyes and bows his head. Zvi senses that he has said the wrong thing.
Listen to me, talk like a grandfather. I'm sure you're a good boy. Now, go on, go off to school.
Thank you, mister.
Come back tomorrow, I'll give you a sip of my coffee.
Ishaq exits the store but remains standing outside, looking back through the windows. Zvi waves him away with a laugh. After the boy has left, Zvi crosses to the table to pick up the discarded napkin. He lifts it off the table and sees that the boy has placed a number of coins under it, along with a Superman keychain charm.
Good kid. Avram would have done the same thing. Superman, huh? He'll be back for it.
Zvi turns back to the interior of the store and we enter a flashback. Interior, synagogue day. It is the beginning of a bar mitzvah and the synagogue is crowded. Avram Darren, a handsome boy of 12, is at the lectern. He points to a passage in the Torah with a hand marker. In a thin, adolescent voice, Avram begins to read the Shemona Ezra, or 18 benedictions. The congregational response is heard at appropriate times in the background. He's joined at the lectern by his father. Zvi touches the Torah with his prayer shawl and then kisses the shawl. As Avram finishes his passage and begins to read aloud from the Torah, Zvi's eyes swell with tears. His son is becoming a man. End of flashback. Interior, the Darren Bakery shop a moment later. Zvi stands behind the counter of his bakery shop. His eyes are filled with tears. A customer's voice brings him out of his reverie. It is Mrs. Efron, an old friend, who frequents the Darren Bakery. She's a peckish-looking woman with sharp features and a brittle voice.
Zvi! You're like a million miles away.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Efron. I was just thinking.
Who has time to think nowadays with all the fighting and so much going on, huh? Give me a half dozen rolls.
Yes. Yes, there's No time to think anymore.
My sister, Abra, said she saw you at the hospital last night. You were working there?
Yes, both Sarah and I were there. We must do something to help. We just can't sit around waiting.
And your son, Avram? Has there been any word? A letter, perhaps?
No, no word.
He's a good, strong boy, Zvi. I'm sure he is well. He is a tank commander, isn't he?
Yes, tank commander.
Do you think that he was in Hebron at the...
She is interrupted by a tremendous explosion outside, just down the street from the bakery. The front window shatters.
Oh, no. No! Ida, are you hurt?
Mrs. Efron continues to scream, although there is no injury visible.
Ida, stop it. Answer me. Are you hurt?
No, I don't think so. Oh, God, Zvi, was it a bomb? Another bombing?
Yes, of course it was. Oh, no, the boy. Ida, go home. Go home now. You'll be all right.
Exterior street outside bakery continuous. The street is in chaos. 50 yards away, a column of smoke fills the air. People are running both away from the scene and towards it. Sirens punctuate the shouts of rescuers and screams of victims. Zvi emerges from his bakery and runs toward the explosion. He pushes his way through the crowd.
A boy. Did you see a boy in the street? He was wearing a red shirt and jeans. Have you seen him?
No one answers him, and he pushes his way to the scene of the explosion. Victims are scattered on the street, and cars have formed an impassable barrier, preventing ambulances from getting through. A bystander is helping Meshach Goldman, a man with blood streaming from his forehead.
Someone help me with this man. The ambulances can't get through. Can someone take him to the hospital? Can you help me?
I'm looking for a boy. He was just...
I'll look for him. This man needs your help now.
Yes, of course. Here, let me take him to my van. It's behind this store. I can drive him.
Exterior, back of the bakery a moment later. The bloodied Goldman, supported on either side by Zvi and the bystander, emerges from the bakery. He's helped into the front seat of Zvi's vehicle, a van with Darren Bakery written on the sides. Zvi gets into the driver's seat.
Keep him talking. He's in pretty bad shape, but I think he'll make it okay.
Okay, look for the boy. 13, red shirt, jeans.
I will.
Zvi backs out of his parking spot and drives away. Interior, Zvi's van, moments later.
Adonai, what's your name?
My name is Meshach Goldman. Can you please let my wife know?
Don't worry, Meshach. You can tell her from the hospital. My name is Zvi Darren. I own the bakery shop.
Yes, I know it. My wife buys bread there sometimes.
Good. Meshach, did you see what happened?
I saw him. He looked right at me and he pulled the detonator pin.
Meshach, think now. Did you see a young boy nearby? He had a red sweatshirt and...
Yes. He was the one wearing the bomb.
No. He was just a boy, just a kid.
Man, woman, kid, what does it matter? They all want to kill us. Strange, though. I was in the army for so long, I never thought it would be a kid who killed me.
Move over! I have to get to the hospital! Meshach, you're going to be okay. Just a few more blocks to the hospital. A few stitches in your head and you'll be home tonight.
Meshach opens up his jacket, and the entire front of his shirt is drenched in blood.
I don't think so, Zvi. Something is cut right through my jacket.
He begins to cough up blood.
Zvi, please, stop the van.
No, but it's just a few blocks more.
Please, now!
Zvi pulls over.
We can't wait, Meshach. You're bleeding too much.
Help me say the Vidui V. Say it with me so God hears it.
Zvi cradles Meshach and begins the recitation of the final confession. Over the two voices we hear Mi Sheberek, the song of healing that is sung at every Sabbath service. The song continues as the voices fade out. In a montage, we see Meshach's hand grabbing Zvi's. We see Zvi's face in close-up as he prays. From a medium distance, Zvi's van pulls up to the hospital emergency entrance, and attendants carry Meshach in. In our final shot, as the song draws to a close, we see Zvi, sitting in his van, staring straight ahead and smoking a cigarette. Interior, Zvi's van an hour later. As the music ends, it crossfades with the sound of the radio. Reports announcing reaching the BBC from Tel Aviv confirm yet another wave of bombings, this time close to the Tel Aviv post office. Conflicting rumors tell of heavy losses by the Israelis in major battles along the... As the announcer continues her report, Zvi slips back into his memories of Avram's bar mitzvah, and we flash back. Interior, the synagogue day. Avram, the boy, has just finished reading the Torah. He turns to his father and gives a quick grin before returning to a solemn look. As the radio report fades out, we end flashback. Interior, the kitchen of the Darren home. Several hours later, Zvi is sitting at the kitchen table. He's still wearing the same clothes, his shirt stained with blood. Sarah Darren, his wife, enters through the kitchen door. She is late middle age. Though still quite attractive, she wears no makeup and her face shows the effects of time and worry. She's carrying a bag of groceries.
Zvi? Zvi, what are you doing home? Oh no, it's Avram, isn't it? Something has happened.
No, not Avram. There was a bombing in this street just down from the bakery. It was a young boy, just a kid. Sarah, I saw him. I talked to him, just like any kid in town. He came into the store and I gave him a pastry. Then he went outside and blew himself up.
Oh, Zvi, I'm so sorry. Zvi, your shirt is covered with blood. You're hurt?
No, it's not mine. Meshach, this man who was wounded. I tried to get him to the hospital, but he died in my arms.
Oh, Zvi.
I held him, and we recited the prayers together. There was nothing else to do. I held him and felt his breathing, and under his breathing I felt this vibration of life. And then the stillness when the vibration stopped.
How horrible. Why do all these cruel things happen, Zvi?
What do I say? Why? Why does a young boy with my pastry in his belly blow himself up? Why do we kill our children? What have we done except to want to live our lives in peace?
There is no answer, is there? From Moses to Buchenwald to Al-Fatah, it's our difference that creates all this.
Moses? You think he had any idea what was in store for us when he asked us to choose? That we would be chosen to be hated, chosen to be slaughtered? If he did, he sure kept it to himself.
Zvi gets up from the kitchen table and walks into the bedroom, unbuttoning his blood-stained shirt. End of the first 10 pages.